Welcome. My name is Chris, and this is the Solstice podcast, where we talk about small businesses, technology, and of course, web design. If you enjoy the show, make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment as a sacrifice to the algorithm. And without further ado, here is the show. Hey, what is up? We have in the house Victor Soldano. Soldano, right? That's how I'm saying it right.
Yes, absolutely.
Victor, awesome to have you on here, man. I'm really happy that you were able to join me for a few minutes. The co-owner of Sweet Jeans Cafe. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very
and
much.
not just that, you're actually like really multifaceted. You got a lot of things that you're interested in, and yeah, I'm hoping we can touch a little bit on that and some of the other stuff that I'm sure that you're also doing. Hey,
For sure.
oh, is that Bruno? Hey, what's up? Yeah, the best MC in the building. Awesome. Yeah, that's good, man. It's good people. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that we both recognize that come down there, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, for sure,
I
for sure.
remember I remember when you were making sandwiches at Method, and like, dude, I feel like people like raved about those sandwiches, and that's why when I heard that you were making like the Sweet Jeans Cafe, I was excited because I know you have that like eye or maybe taste bud for like, when you're talking about like sweet and sour and getting all the like salty flavors in there, I was like excited for that. So
It's all the facets at the same time, you want to like hit textures and like, flavor profiles that all like kind of like coincide to make the perfect sandwich. One of my
yeah,
favorite things that you brought up to me was that hummus sandwich that you talked about for so long that we got to bring to fruition in some way, shape, or form. It was with the honey mustard. I remember
I
this.
forgot about that. Yeah.
The honey mustard, I think it had a bunch of veggies in it and hummus. I mean, without even knowing, you created the perfect sandwich.
That was really funny. Yeah, I remember I haven't made that sandwich since I talked to you, but man, I remember, yeah, that was actually like a great sandwich. I don't know why I stopped making it. Maybe I can go to you guys and you guys can make,
We can.
I'll offload it to you guys, you know?
Yeah, sure. We'll come up with a new recipe.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be
Well,
special.
yeah, I'm sure, man. Well, maybe you can tell me a little bit because I know you have I was looking at you guys online and I saw that you have a co-owner, Michelle, who's I think she's running the kitchen part of it. So you have the cafe and then she has the kitchen.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So she runs the kitchen and like kind of like builds our recipes from the ground up, and then I execute on the coffee side and like the front of house services. So it's a really good balance of responsibilities for me. I don't have to worry about cooking, which is great, and then I get to focus on my favorite stuff, which is like connecting with people, and then also building the drinks, which is really fun.
How important do you think because I feel like the cafe part, it's like part of it, yeah, is like the customers drink coffee and then they order some stuff and then leave, maybe to go to work or something. But like how big do you think it is to have like that community part? Because I feel like it's really big for you, but I'm wondering how big you think it is for like just a cafe in general.
It's the only reason to come back to a cafe, right? Like, I mean, there's so many places that you can go. There's so many businesses you can go. And the only factor, in my opinion, right now that sets anything apart is like, who are you talking to? Who are you meeting there? Who are you, exchanging like that? If it's the first person you talk to in the day, like those words with, if it's the last person that you talk to in the day, like how are you, who are you spending your time with? So for me, being a character, being like someone who like, creates an experience for people, I think that that's the most important part of having a space in any capacity, whether that be a cafe or a gym or whatever it is. You got to be like someone who can like grab someone's attention, I guess, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that actually. That's wow, now that you're bringing that up, yeah, I can see a lot of connections with people who like I really admire like in different spaces. Like I know a lot of people who run like martial arts gyms, for example, and the people who do really well or the people who like captivate you, they kind of are like that. I don't want to say like larger than life characters. It's not like they're like Paul Bunyan or something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they kind of like, but they do have like Yeah, they have like this magnetism to them, which is like really cool. And
All of your favorite spaces are that. 100%. Anyone who says that they have a favorite place, it already has that, and maybe they don't even notice it.
right, so it's all about the people at the end of the
Yeah, yeah.
day, which is right. It's all about the people at the end. Yeah. Do you feel like it's the same way like when you go traveling places? Because like at the end of the day, it's like who you met along the way.
I just went to Mystic, Connecticut to go like to an aquarium, but we were like checking out a bunch of breakfast spots, and we were there for 3 days, just like kind of like checking out the area. And we went to the same breakfast every morning because the people were so good every single time. And the food was also excellent, but like the people were like what pinned us there. We were like, okay, we could try this new breakfast spot, or we could go hang out here again. And it was like every day we were having fun at the same spot because it was
Oh,
the
really?
service. Absolutely.
It was
Shout out
the
Kitchen Little.
Kitchen Little in Connecticut. Was it like the server that was really cool? Was it just like the whole staff just put something
It was
together?
everything. I mean, it's like what's the word? It's like a homogenous like experience. So it's yeah, homogenous is combined. Homogenous experience where it's like, okay, we're in like a tight little shop. It looks like kind of, off the beaten path. It feels special already. The branding is like nice. I immediately understand what the vibe is when I walk in. Every person who works there is super nice, super friendly, super excited. And like, to me, that is like, that's what I look for. That's what was given to us. And that's why we wanted to keep coming back.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, like captivates you a little bit. You have a little magic. Dude, that's actually like a big thing. I think it's hard like when you're a business person, like I've been on the like project management side for like and like engineering firms, and like when you look at things like in a like on a financial spreadsheet, like there's really no room for that sort of thing,
Mm-mm.
like at all. Like I remember like I would have to make decisions on like, oh, how much are we going to be spending on this person's time or that person's time? And like you would just never be able to consider some factor like that, whether that person is, uplifting the energy in the room or something like that, or whether they're improving the morale of the team, that sort of thing. But yeah, maybe that's like actually way more important than what we really like, we're not able to measure it.
Yeah,
So like, how would
I
you
don't
say
think
it?
that there's a metric. There's no metric for, how pleasant the experience is, how like beautiful like my time is in a space, how incredible and a single interaction is. And I think that like as we progress in society, I hope that there isn't a metric for that establishes. I like that there
Is that
is
going to
no
ruin it?
way. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the more that we're like this interaction was 96% positive, like I don't know if I'm like super stoked to like think about things like that. I like, just like a wonderfully authentic and like beautiful experience that I get to have like in a moment. And maybe one day it's good and one day it's bad, but like, you go back because like, oh, maybe I'll get that moment again. Maybe I'll be able to have like a really like nice cafe experience or restaurant
Right.
experience or gym experience, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you trying to do that now with the what is it? Learn Coffee Good classes?
That's funny that you bring that up. I find that that has a totally different like vibe to it. For me, if they want to be there, immediately they're already getting to get like that experience. Like I'm making it like a time for them where it's like, okay, this is about you and what your goals are. The class is a little bit more freeform because the first like 10 minutes is me figuring out what they want to get out of the class. So if they're like,
Mm.
one of the first classes we had someone come in and they were like, I don't know what I want, like what job I want next. And I'm doing this class to see if this is something that I would like. So we retooled the entire class
Wow.
to make it so it was like, let's address that question. This is
Wow.
what it's like in a, yeah. I mean, and that's just like a little bit of like improv into like what
Yeah.
we did. I don't know what the classes are going to look like until people walk in. But if I can like attack that thing that they want all of a sudden their experience, like the value in their experience becomes so much far greater than, oh yeah, we're gonna, sit down, or we're gonna stand by an espresso machine for 2 hours and like you spend $70 and like you learn a couple things. It's like, no, now you have context. Now you
Right, right, right.
understand what you want out of like this experience. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just
Oh, that's
a
actually
better
that's
experience.
really cool. Well, that's cool that you basically like gave him coaching or her coaching for like the
Yeah.
2 hours. Basically, they're like, "Oh, maybe I want to do this," and you're like, "Well, let's find out." You just like go through the gamut of what that means for them.
I think it's so important because in this industry, it's so hard to understand if you can do it, if you like it, if you understand the work behind it. And like it's like skills that you have to develop over time. So you have to really like have that one-on-one experience to really get like, I could learn
Yeah,
this. I could understand the flow. Do I even like this thing? So,
but that goes
I
for
mean
like,
that,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I feel like that goes for a lot of things,
Oh yeah.
like like diving in and seeing if it's something that you really like is like I feel like most people don't try to do that. Like they don't necessarily try to like take the plunge necessarily. And
Well, I
so like
think
they
that
kind of
that's
always end up
interesting.
wondering.
You say that, and it's like I know that your classes are like, you know, every new person that comes into your class, they're taking that plunge too. So it's like the
Mm,
way that we structure things, especially as like experiences that we have to, as a business, like someone who owns a business, like the way that we structure experiences is they must be welcoming, they must be like accessible, and then once they get in the space, they must deliver. Like, so the experience has to deliver itself. So, I mean,
yeah.
everyone's doing this on a daily basis. It's just how much do we like reveal the magic behind the curtain? You know what I mean? That's not the
Mm.
saying, but there is a saying for that.
But dude, that's actually interesting because you put a lot of, and I think this is the right perspective, is like you put like a lot of the weight on yourself
Uh-huh.
to say like the person's coming in and now it's my responsibility to make sure that they're having a good time, that they're feeling like they're being catered to in a certain way, and that they have a good enough experience where like they're going to be willing to come back and maybe talk about it with other people, as opposed to like I don't know. I know like in the martial arts community, a lot of times people will come with the opposite perspective where it's like, I'm doing this thing for you, and it's almost like you should be grateful, which is not a good perspective, I
I
think,
think it
to
is a
have.
good perspective, though. I think that that's totally
Okay.
fine because if I'm searching for that, if I'm like, I want to train with someone who I believe is the best at X, Y, or Z,
Mm,
they're doing me a favor. And if I go
right.
in with that expectation and that like mindset, then I enjoy that experience so much more. There, the way that I do things and the way that I teach things and the way that I like build experiences is just one way of doing it. But there's so many other ways. Like, I don't want an experience that's always welcoming. Sometimes I want an experience that's like difficult, challenging, something that like takes like time to get into. And I think that that's, the magic. That's like the huge diversity in like these types of things.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right? Because some people like
Yeah,
doing like tough mutters and like marathons.
exactly.
They're not looking for pleasant experience. It's
They're trying to
interesting.
put themselves through something.
You think you're gonna take that approach at some point with a cafe? You,
Absolutely
you could
not.
do barista for a day or something.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they
that would
like
be good.
get trained and then they become the barista for a day.
Thrown into the fire, just like,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, here's 15 drinks. Good luck.
It's like you had the crash course. We did it in the morning, and now you have to go and do it. And
And also you're gonna pay me to do this.
right, right, and you're gonna pay me to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you know that there's like yeah, I feel like there's like all kinds of weird. It's like a haunted house. It's like imagine like
Oh
you go
yeah,
to
yeah.
a place and you're like, oh, I want to be tortured with fear for like an hour and a half.
But
I'm
that's
gonna
the thing
go
is
pay
people
someone.
love that. People love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
They'll
yeah.
pay
People do
top
love
dollar
that.
for the best haunted houses. They'll pay
Right.
top dollar for like the worst experiences ever. And because people, this is not accessible to everyone. Like people who
Right.
have like, certain types of jobs, certain types of lifestyles, like the inaccessibility of, okay, I need to set aside time to learn how to be a barista. Like, it's inaccessible.
Mm,
Or
it
martial arts
is.
or haunted house. They can't get these experiences anywhere else.
Right. My
You know,
house is
you
not
go out and seek it.
haunted.
Yeah. I
My
mean,
house is not
yeah.
haunted, so I got to go
How am
find
I
that.
gonna how am I gonna get my house haunted? This is crazy.
Right. That'd be a cool service, actually.
Yeah.
You like pay the opposite of a bishop or whatever at a church, and you'd
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, I need you to somehow haunt my house for me."
Yeah, please.
Like, like whoever ghosts you take out of their house, put them in my house, and I will pay you
Oh,
money for
that's
that.
so good. Damn, that sounds like a good TV show.
Right? That would be wild. But an Apple TV show. You don't think Amazon would? Amazon goes for some weird, edgy stuff. They could maybe
I
pull
feel
that
like
off too.
Apple does it better though. Severance is the jam.
Severance is your thing. I don't know. What is that show? I have no idea.
It's just about work life. Honestly, it's just a show about work life balance, and I
Well,
enjoy it.
like like there's like popular shows like that. Like, what's the show about lawyers? You know what I'm talking about? There's like is it Tux or Suits? Yeah. It's literally just like a show about like lawyers. And I couldn't think of a more boring, dry premise, but apparently it's really good.
One of my favorite jokes of all time, this is a tangent now, but is what did the lawyer say to the other lawyer? We're both lawyers. It's an amazing joke, okay? And let me break this down for you, okay? So it's not
If
a
you have to
knock
break it
knock joke.
down, I
Yeah,
mean, I could
100.
be just an idiot, but if you do have to break it down, it might not
No, no.
be.
I don't know. The first time I heard it, I think I reacted the same way, but I think that the idea is it's an anti joke. So it's like a joke that's not supposed to be funny. It's just very dry.
Oh my gosh. It would have been a better setup, I think, if you said like what was the joke that like something like that? Like what joke did the lawyer tell the other lawyer or something? I don't know. Like
Yes,
he's
I
trying to
think
be
that that
funny,
would have
right?
been better for this terrible joke. We should have made the
I don't think
terrible
I would have
joke
told it any
longer.
better.
We should tell
He-
the terrible joke 3 times as long.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to make it any funnier, that's for sure.
It's a tough one.
Dude, are you gonna be doing any like events like you did at the other cafe at Method? Like, are you gonna do like D&D sessions
Yes.
or anything like that? I know your
So,
time is probably really stretched, but
yeah, it's terrible. But, with that comes like the necessity for ingenuity, right? So, less time means that we have to figure out ways to do it with less resources. So, what's been good is for D&D, I run a community of D&D that we started with you and like 8 other players, let's say
yeah.
maybe 12 other players max. And now on the Discord that we have, we're at like over 180 players,
Whoa,
which is
seriously.
crazy. We've like really grown in the past couple of years, which is nice.
That's awesome, man.
And with that, we have people who want to host games all the time. So I
Wow.
just provide them the space, and then I don't really have to do too much. I just like do like a little bit of like community management, and the rest of it is basically, self-sufficient. With that, there's really not too much to do there besides like, make sure everyone gets treated well and like, you know, get the people who run games gets taken care of. I can't do a bunch financially. My resources are thin, but what we can do, we do 100%. So we make sure that those people feel, taken care of, and like they're like huge parts of the community because they are. And then, my goal right now for any other events is to try and like downtown Newark is like a little isolationist, right? So you have
Mm,
businesses who never interact with each other. And I feel like the answer to building a robust community, building a robust network of businesses is to connect the businesses and make sure that they're all bouncing off of each other. Yes, no one wants to go to a cafe every Friday night for, nothing, but what if we
right.
combine the cafe with the brewery, with the gym? Like, what if we like connect all of these businesses and like create mega events, and then all of a
Mm,
sudden there's something for everyone? So,
it's interesting.
the dorkiness of the cafe,
Yeah.
the athletes, the audience of the gym, and then the alcohol in the brewery. All of those things have an appeal to someone, or
What do you
combined
think
in
that that
some
would
way.
look like? Like an event or like a monthly get together kind of thing?
So that's what we are talking about right now. So I just brought this up with like a bunch of people in the area where, you know, those method mixers, like they're essentially like karaoke nights with like free beer, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to start doing them at the brewery and we're going to test it out. And then I'm going to bring over food. So now it's like a full experience where you can eat, drink, sing, be merry with friends. And it's like bringing
Whoa.
together like the best of like, you know, all three worlds.
Dude, that's actually really cool, man.
Yeah.
That sounds exciting. I want to go to Do
I
you
know,
guys have
right?
like a planned date for when that's going to start?
I don't think we have a date yet, but it will definitely be posted across all social medias for sure
Okay,
when
that's
we get to
awesome.
that point. Which is also
I
another thing is like the social media through lines. We need to make sure everyone connects through there.
yeah,
Not my
yeah.
favorite
Yeah,
thing,
all
but
the
it is necessary.
God, yeah, social media is like a whole thing. I actually don't even have like a I mean, other than the Facebook that I made for myself like in 2007 or something like that. I don't really have any other personal social media thing that I
Hmm.
use. And it's because I don't like it, man. I don't know. I don't know how people interact with social media, to be honest. Obviously, there's if I go on Instagram, people post stories and stuff and they post things about themselves, but I don't know, it seems weird. Like seems like performative in a lot of ways.
I
I
definitely
get why
agree.
businesses do it. I get why businesses do it. They're updating their public on things that are happening and it's like accessible. So that makes sense.
I do feel like there must be some metric out there that has like maybe confirmed in some way that the efficacy of like promoting your business through Instagram has dropped significantly in
Mm.
the past couple months to years. Like I think like it's not the best thing in the world to like just promote your business on Instagram anymore. Like I think that there has to be so much more work to it. There's so much more like drive to like having incredible like stuff in your space to like interact with. I think like visually obviously that's important, but I don't see a huge correlation with like views equals business.
Yeah.
So, but you know, also I'm very fresh into this, so maybe I just haven't like had my moment with it. But like, you know, we work with Audible.
Okay.
Like, we one of our grants, which is public by the way, was given to us by Audible to help with like business costs and things like that. And I do feel like even like a titan like Audible that has so many eyes on it, it's like the most people who we get coming into our business, and even though they repost us and things like that, and like they have like so many followers, the most people is just people who are in our building. You know, every day we get a lunch
Yeah.
rush and it's people who are from the building, and like
Right.
it's proximity, it's like word of mouth. I think that those are way stronger
Yeah.
than but also, you know, I'm a 30-year-old guy now, so maybe I just don't use the internet as much as I used to.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably true. Like the young kids are probably using it in a different way. But I mean, probably 15-year-olds might not be the market for like a cafe.
Zero
Actually, I don't
percent. That
know.
is absolutely no. You're absolutely right. There's zero 15-year-olds who want to come in here.
No, yeah. Oh, wow. So maybe we are just getting old and it's just we're playing to our new demographic, you know.
It's okay. You
But
know,
I
that's
but
just what it
I
is.
agree with you with the social media thing just because there's like I've seen it a lot where you can have a big audience, but because social media is kind of global, your reach isn't really within the community that you're trying to target anyways. Like you're probably
Yeah,
as a cafe, you're targeting people within like a 5 mile radius, like strongly. And then there's other
absolutely.
people who come out from beyond that, but like, you know, the core audience is probably close by. And
I agree. I completely agree. And in downtown Newark, the audience isn't even a 5 mile radius. I think it's like closer to like a 1.5 mile radius. You will not
mm,
get many people walking much more than that at all. Like the
yeah.
drop off is probably like way, way big, but that's just what it is. And I think that, you know, the people who are benefiting the most from social media are people who can like ship worldwide. I think that you brought up like a good point with that. Like if you have like a shirt brand that like it just
Right.
looks really good, yeah, that's probably where you're making the most money is being able to sell online. But yeah, I think that the way that I wanted this business to work was like it was a local spot that people could get some reprieve from and like, you know, get out of the office, sit down, talk to someone who like wants to talk to you,
Mm.
Like enjoy it like something that it, like feels homemade and like for you. And I think that that's, that's always been the goal with a space like this. And that's who's coming in right now. It's like people who want like something different than what's in the area. That's the other thing. You have to have something unique too. It's all
Yeah,
of the things
yeah,
at once, which is the scariest thing in the world, right? You have to be everything at once.
yeah. Yeah, you have to be everything for everyone. But it's also like it's just it's a high calling, you know. You gotta do a lot for people and it's not easy. And people are demanding too. People are really can be very demanding for no reason at all.
Yeah,
And
I have a very good question for you, by the way.
yeah, what's the question?
Okay, what is what demand from your audience have you felt, or your clients, whoever? What do you feel like is the most impactful to you that you've gotten, like the most impactful demand that you've gotten from someone who's a client or a student or whatever?
Like impactful, like it changes the way I do things, or
I
like
think that
impactful.
it could be anything. It could be like the one that like hurt you the most. It could be the one that like changed how you do business for like,
Mm,
the better part of it, the time that you've done business. It's something,
yeah.
whatever it means to you.
Well, I've worked with definitely a lot. So right now, I didn't get a chance to mention it. I guess I should have at the intro, but I started designing. Well, no, I did mention it to you before, but I guess not in depth. But yeah, me and my wife started a web design agency, so we are talking to people on that. But I've worked with more people like teaching martial arts, teaching capoeira, and I will definitely say the biggest thing that people's demands it's more like the things that they don't say because people when they decide if they want to come back or not, it's not something that they would verbalize to you. So they're not going to say, "Well, I liked it, but I didn't like it quite enough to come back." And no one will say that to you, which actually sucks because I would
I do know what
rather
you
they
mean.
say that. I would rather you tell me so that I could make everything better. But because you didn't say anything, it's hard for me to I have to guess what's kind of in your mind. And I think the biggest demand that people have, that at least people in the martial arts space, but I think in business in general, is just like people don't want to work with you if it's going to be like a slog. Like if it's going to be like well, it depends, like
Yeah.
what we were talking about, right? It depends what kind of experience people are looking for. But at least if they're coming to a cafe or martial arts space or like coming to a web designer, for example, I don't think they're coming there because they want extra work. I think they're coming there because they kind of want work offloaded from their plate. Interestingly, like with martial arts, for example, you would say like, oh, but shouldn't that be the opposite? Because martial arts should be hard. It's like, well, yes, but if
Uh,
they're not having fun from and just because you're having fun doesn't mean you're not working hard. But I would say that that's like a really big factor. There's like a fun factor for people that
absolutely.
I think is really critical. And it's not in everything that we do, like we were talking about, but that might be part of it. I don't know. Like trying to answer your question is difficult because I think the biggest thing is the stuff that people don't say. And it's
That's why
hard
it's
to
a fun
know.
question.
Yeah.
The
Do you feel the
easy to
same way though?
answer
Like,
ones.
do you feel the same way? It's
About
like
what?
people aren't, they're not telling you what they think and that's making it hard.
I think that it doesn't make it hard. I think that it makes it devastating. I think that it is. I think it is so heartbreaking to know that there's like customers out there or guests who come in and like eat something or drink something and they're like they walk out and they're like I'll never go back there again and you
Yeah.
just don't know why they don't come back,
Yeah.
and I think that that part, you know if you think about it too hard and you're like sensitive to that thing, especially like when I was like younger, like that tore me apart, like it
Oh,
destroyed me.
yeah.
And but you have to get used to it, and then you also have to tell yourself like it makes you reflect on the things that are like most important about a customer experience. Like what do I want when I walk in? And I know that what I want isn't what everyone wants, but at least you're going in with an intention and like a plan, because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people don't go in with an intention or a plan, and they're like, why isn't this working? I don't know. That's like,
Right.
I don't
Right.
know.
Well, they,
Yeah.
they do say your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you are intentionally putting out a certain vibe, then you'll
Wow.
attract the people who go for that sort of thing, right?
I
That's what I think.
100% agree with the sentiment, and then I don't like the way that it's said at all. That's a little it's just a little too corny for me, I guess. But also,
Okay.
I completely agree with what you're saying. I just think that that's a funny way of saying it.
The vibe attracts you attract. Dude, it's just
Yeah,
that I've seen it so much, man. People who are
yeah,
like really stiff and like dogmatic about things, like that's what they attract.
oh yeah,
And it's like
absolutely.
it's so weird how it works, but like I've just seen it so
Yeah, yeah.
often that I'm like I don't believe in horoscopes or crystals or anything like that, but there's like some vibe thing that clearly attracts people to you depending on like, what it is that you do. So I don't know what to call that. It's like you're saying we can't measure it,
Yeah.
but
Those are the
it is
metrics
there.
that those are the things that are like the special sauce. The anything that you can't truly measure, I feel like that's like follow those trails, and I feel like you're onto something pretty unique at the very least.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I remember when we started the D&D campaign that you were talking
Uh-huh.
about earlier. I kid you not, I thought it was going to be about 2, 3 sessions. And we went on for like 6 months.
Oh yeah.
And the whole time I was like, this is kind of long, but I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
And it's because of the people who are there. Like everyone who is a part of it.
Hmm.
Like I really liked everyone who was in our group.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was like every single time I was like really excited to spend time with these people. And
Can I tell you something that like I think might ruin a little bit of the magic for you there?
yeah, sure. Ruin the magic.
I have no idea how long that was supposed to be. Like it could have been three
Really?
sessions. You just got to
Really?
go with the vibe, I think. And like with stuff
Wow.
like that, I just
Right.
tailored it to when people's interests were waxing and waning. Like that's what it was. If we had a week where it was like,
Dude.
oof, I
Wow.
don't know if we can, how many more weeks do we have? You figure it out
Right.
when you're like playing with you're playing a game with your friends and like you can feel it. And then when we ended, I felt like it was a totally perfect, like correct ending. Like that was
Yeah.
the exact amount of time anyone wanted to spend on it. That's how much we spent on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually perfect though, when you think about it. Like if everything could be organized that way, which obviously it can't, but like that's perfect because you just say like that's like when you're playing with your friends. Like you're playing tag. So you just play tag until no one wants to play tag anymore.
Oh my God. That's actually a really wholesome way of thinking about it too. I haven't thought about it like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's exactly it. When it's done, it's done. And if you have the nuance and the context to like, have something that's like free flowing like that and it to end
Hmm.
where it needs to end rather than where you want it to end, I think that that's what creates like those really like amazing experiences where it feels like just a touch more magical, a touch more whimsical, special, authentic.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Uh,
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful statement. Yeah, I'm really like rooting for the cafe, man, for sure. I'm excited for the day that I get to go out there because I know that I know that that's like a really big thing for you, like making
mhm.
those experiences special. So I know that it's gonna be a good time regardless of like, when I go out there. So yeah, I'm excited to go out there, man. I haven't been in Newark right now for a little while. I just got back to the US. I think I was telling you like I was in Mexico and Argentina for a few months,
Yeah, for
and now I'm
sure.
back here.
Where are you staying? Where are you about? Like in New York?
Yeah, right now I'm in Wayne. I'm in Wayne, New Jersey, if you know where
Oh,
that
cool.
is.
Yeah, I grew up right
Yeah.
next to Wayne. I grew up
Oh
in
yeah, where'd you
Oakland.
grow up? Oakland. Where's Oakland?
Well, Wayne's massive, so that's like a loaded statement. It's next to Franklin Lake.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Wayne is very large.
So, yeah.
Wayne is very large. Yeah, I know where that is. Franklin Lakes. Okay, cool, man. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up here and I don't know why, but I decided to move to. Oh no, I know why. I moved to Newark for like 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like combined total of like 10 years in Newark. So, I don't know, I
That's
spent a
awesome.
lot of time there. Did you want to like why did you pick Newark actually for the cafe?
That's so funny. Well, I think like for the cafe particularly, I think all the planets aligned in my favor. So We like lined up a bunch of like grants. We had a lot of opportunities with local people who wanted to give us, good deals on like a space. Like we invested a
Nice.
lot of time here over the years, and I think it just paid off. And
Mm,
honestly, I don't know where else I would want to open up besides like a place where it's like every day I get to see like four of my friends. They come in, they're
yeah.
like, "Hey, let me get a coffee." It's like, what else could you really ask for? I
Yeah.
think it's,
Yeah. That is nice, man.
you know, nothing better than that. We already know so many people in the area. Like when someone from the library comes over, it's like, oh, a familiar face. Like it's just very
Nice.
nice.
Wow. What a different experience from like, I would imagine like a place like New York where it's like you just have no idea who's coming in. Like that must be like I spend a lot of time in like smaller towns in Argentina, and I forgot like how nice that is actually. Because yeah, it's like you're saying, you kind of the people a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think like Newark feels like sometimes like the smallest big city in the world. And it's
Mm,
like very cool to like be a part of downtown Newark in this way. And like, I hope eventually people consider us like a staple. Like, there's that's what every great business in Newark is considered as like a
yeah.
staple. Like Cat's
It's
Deli.
audible, and then it's Sweet Jeans.
Yeah, I don't know about Autumn. That's kind of crazy. I don't know if I would call a big corporation a staple, but yeah, it's definitely here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like all the little Newark Museum and Sweet Jeans.
All right, I'll take that. That's kind of nice. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think of us in the same vein, but yeah, I'm down.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I remember like during COVID, like all the downtown Newark businesses, like on I think it's Bleecker Street, they all just got like decimated. It was like
Dude, it's bad.
wild how,
It sucks.
but it came back immediately. It was
Yeah,
the weirdest, craziest transformation.
yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough because Newark suffers from a lot of things around here, and I think that one of those things is that it always wants to grow, but it never really gets the chance or the time to build its infrastructure to protect it. So like
Mm,
we don't have the base of our garden, but we're trying to like put a tree in there. We're trying to put like,
right.
15 different trees that are like from 15 different climates in the same garden. And
Well,
it's
interesting.
tough. Yeah, I mean it's not for the faint of heart,
Mm,
like putting a business together in Newark, but it's also extremely rewarding. You learn so much just by being in this area. And like, we got very lucky in so many things. So I just need to preface all of what I'm saying with that is like, we're very lucky. We're very fortunate. There's like a lot of support for us, which not everyone gets. I don't know if we could have done it without everyone else, like all of our support. And I think that having a community is the biggest strength that you can have as like opening up a business in Newark, but it's still tough, still very tough.
Absolutely. Entrepreneurship. What did I heard it's described as staring into the abyss and eating glass.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'll take that. I think that that's very possible.
Well,
The,
let's see. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we end? Is there anything you want to announce that you guys are up to
oh my
or
gosh, we're
any
grand
plans?
opening. We're grand opening probably first week of April at some point, but we'll post about it for
Nice.
sure. I'm
Nice.
really excited to fully open and like have our menu available, have like set hours, have, prices that are locked in, which is great. And, I'm just very thankful for everyone who supported us along the way. So
Nice.
many, so many good people. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I would want to say.
No, I saw something on LinkedIn, of all places, because I saw you. I don't know if you know Emily Mans.
Yeah, absolutely.
She, yeah, so she went to school with me in grad school
Hmm.
for urban planning, and so I saw that she had posted something about Sweet Jeans. I was like, oh no way, that's awesome. So I looked, and yeah, sure enough, there was a photo of you there, and I was like, hell yeah, Victor, let's go. Like, I was like, listen. And yeah, so that's why I wanted to reach out to you because I saw that and it just like triggered that in
Oh,
my
that's so
brain.
rad. Yeah, I mean, I think like one of the coolest things about like popping up here and like, like being able to like be a part of like cool stuff like this is like friends like you, friends like, there's like 15 other people like around me at all times who
Yeah.
like we knew each other like a couple years ago, and then now we're like reconnecting because of like this thing, which is like very beautiful to me. It means like the whole world, and I think it's like exactly why I wanted to do this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's just really awesome and heartwarming. So I appreciate you reaching out.
Awesome, Victor. Well, thanks for giving the time to talk. And
Yeah,
yeah, man,
absolutely.
I'm excited to see you at the cafe, and I'm sure other places as well. All right.
We will
So
save a seat for you.
thank you. Take care,
All right,
man.
take it easy.